Good morning, I'm Mark Franklin. We are interrupting CBS Morning this morning to take you live to Birmingham Police Headquarters, where Police A.C. Roper is holding a news conference right now. Let's listen in.
1st Street North regarding a female victim who had been shot. The victim was found in the living room, deceased from a gunshot wound. A witness who lived nearby stated the suspect came to the residence while she was there and was asking to see his kids. The suspect left the residence, and then the witness also departed. Sometime later, the witness heard several gunshots, stepped outside to see several kids running towards her. 3 of the kids had been shot, and the 4th was either grazed or injured by a bullet. All 4 kids are at the hospital, and all 4 are in stable condition. There were 4 other kids at the residence who were not injured, so we're extremely thankful for that. We, of course, initiated an intensive investigation, called in several other units, including K-9 and our crime reduction team, because we wanted to get this man off the street quickly. Within 6 hours, we had the suspect arrested. He was located near the area of 18th Street North and 17th Court North. He was found asleep, laying on the front seat of a vehicle covered with clothes. According to the officers who put handcuffs on him, he was compliant and actually seemed relieved to be arrested. He was transported to police headquarters where he's being interviewed now. I must say there was a history of domestic violence at this residence. We ask for the thoughts and prayers for this family and for these kids who have lost their mother. The investigation is ongoing as we continue to try to piece all of these elements together which led to this crime last night. So at this time, we'll bring the mayor up for some comments.
Thank you, Chief. It is always a tragic circumstance when this city experienced the death of an individual, especially to domestic violence. We're calling upon all agencies and organizations that are involved with developing programs for domestic violence to come together to look at guidelines, policies, and procedures that we can come together on that will give individuals who are caught up in situations of domestic violence more support in their efforts to be relieved of that situation. I've asked the chief to look into speeding up the process by which he's been working on a plan to develop a one-stop justice center for domestic violence in which an individual can come and get all of the support necessary to extract themselves from those types of situations. Our prayers go out to this family and all the individuals who were injured by this tragedy, and we have the individual in custody, but there are so many other situations out there that if someone finds themselves in a similar situation, they need to speak up and bring it to our attention so that we can help to take immediate action to get them out of those types of situations. Chief.
So at this time, we'll take a few questions.
Chief, was there any kind of restraining order, any kind of legal action taken by this woman against the boyfriend we know?
Preliminarily, what we've determined is in March, she took some legal action, but of course it didn't prevent what occurred last night. It's just very tough because these situations often involve relationships, and in this case we have the suspect who is saying all 8 kids were his, that he was the father of all 8 kids, so there's this connection which is extremely difficult to break. And that's the challenge when it comes to domestic violence. And it's not something the police department can solve by itself. That's why we need the partners. And we need a greater awareness in our communities, because quite often people will look the other way when they see the signs. But we're asking everyone to step up and be counted when you suspect that a friend or a family member is a victim of domestic violence.
Do you know what exact kind of legal action that was?
No, it's too early to tell right now, but we'll have all that figured out as we continue with the investigation.
Do you know when the last time you were called to the scene was?
Not at this time, but we're working through all that. It's extremely fluid. The suspect is in this building right now being interviewed, and so we still have a lot of work to do Even though he's in custody, we're just really beginning the in-depth piece of this investigation.
Can you
Talk
tell us
about the
the
condition of the
ages?
children. The children you say are stable, but detail. Serious, critical, what?
I would say serious. The fact that these kids were shot is not something that they can easily recover from. So we know they're getting the best medical care right now, but we're still working through that. There's going to be physical injuries, but also psychological injuries that they'll have to deal with for years to come.
And they
Can you
said the
tell us
12-year-old was quite life-threatening. Last time it was. Has that changed? He's stable too?
At this time, the latest report is all the kids are in stable condition, but it's fluid, and so that's why we're asking for the thoughts and prayers. And we can get the ages for the kids here in a moment.
The kids that weren't shot?
Yes.
And when will you be releasing the victim's name and the suspect's name?
As soon as we can get the suspect charged, we'll release his name, and as soon as we're aware that all of the family is aware of the victim, we'll release her name also. The coroner's office is doing what they do, and so we're still working through it. We still have a lot of work to do, and we appreciate the support of the community as we cope with this as a community, and we're just thankful that the other kids were not injured.
What happened to the other children? Are they with family now? Can you tell us are they in your own care? Who's taking care of these kids?
The other kids are with family members, and so this is something that the entire family is wrapping their arms around. It's a shock to them that this could occur in the still of the night. So we just ask everyone to remember them. We still have a lot of work to do and just need the support of the community. This family needs the support of their friends. And so Birmingham is a resilient community, and these are the times where we have to come together as one.
Has the suspect given any indication as to his motivation why he did this?
This will be the last question. The interview has just started. We have experienced investigators who are interviewing this subject right now. He's talking, which is good. And so we hope to determine the motive. It won't make it easier, but it may add some type of sense of what transpired and what we can do in the future to prevent these types of incidents from occurring. So we're thankful that we were able to get him in custody without any injuries to him. So now we can work through it as we go through the interview process and collecting additional evidence. Thank you so much.
One more, Chief, if you could you allow?
All right, you just heard from Chief A.C. Roper there, also Birmingham Mayor William Bell. He gave us a lot of new information on a very tragic situation, a domestic violence shooting in North Birmingham. We're going to roll some video of the scene as we give you an update as what he talked about. I want to recap some of the things he gave us in that press conference. He gave us some information about the children. We were first told that one child was in critical condition. A.C. Roper told us, Chief Roper says that all 4 kids right now are in stable condition. Now, this is where this all took place. It happened overnight after 10 o'clock on North Birmingham, 21st Street. And the scene was a situation where a woman refused to let her boyfriend into the home. He started shooting inside the house. Officers say when they found the young woman, she was in the living room. She was shot, suffering from gunshot wounds. She died. There were also 4 children shot. 1 child was in the yard at the time. Those 4 kids are at Children's of Alabama right now. As Chief Roper says, those 4 kids are in stable condition. Now, they did an intensive search for the suspect, who is the boyfriend, have not released his name yet. Police say they found him 6 hours later. He was arrested inside a car on 18th Street North and 17 Court North. He was asleep in a vehicle covered in clothes, and police say he seemed to be relieved that they actually caught him. Police say they have thoughts, of course, for the prayers for the family. There was domestic violence at this house before. In fact, Police Chief A.C. Roper says they were called to the house back in March. The other thing about this, Chief Roper let us know that this man, the suspect who is thought to have shot this woman and 4 of the children, that he is the father of all 8 children. The other 4 children, 3 of them in DHR custody right now. A 4th child is with a family member. So that is the latest on the situation of a violent shooting, a domestic violence case in North Birmingham, 21st Street, happened overnight. 1 woman is dead, 4 of her children shot. They are in the hospital at Children's of Alabama, all in stable condition at this time. This is a fluid situation. Of course, police are still interviewing the suspect right now, and as soon as we get more information, we will have it for you right here online at WIAT.com. And of course, make sure you join us on the news at noon. This is the latest here from CBS 42 News. We return you now back to CBS Morning News.